I'll take
So,
it.
okay. You have to buy an instant vortex. You got to give it a try, man.
I have no intention of buying one. Like you were getting there with me with a rotisserie, like that was really cool feature, and like having that with the egg rolls to have it extra crispy, awesome. But you lost me because at the same time, like, a little bit of extra oil. Even at the end of the day, I'm gonna have like 2 or 3 egg rolls anyway, so I don't really care. I don't have that much oil in a day, so I'm just gonna deep fry it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, right? Is that I don't actually. I was looking on the screen. I was like, man, I put on some weight. Since it's only been 3 weeks.
It's been Thanksgiving though.
Thanksgiving. But okay. Next best one, the KitchenAid stand mixer.
Oh yes, I'm getting that.
You're getting
I don't have it
why
yet.
don't you have one yet?
Because I'm not a baker. And I know there's a lot of other things that I can use, but I've been able to make do without it. But I want a KitchenAid stand mixer. Like I'm tired of making my pasta by hand. I'm tired of making my biscuits by hand. I want that mixer.
Yeah. So best investment we've ever made for Phoenix. So Phoenix went in half, we went on half, and she's a baker. And one day she'll be baking cookies or making macarons for us. And the next day I'm grinding up venison and making sausages. Nice. But then the next day we're making ice cream out of that thing. I mean, we've bought
you
pretty
can make
much
ice
every
cream out
attachment.
Of a KitchenAid?
So yeah, there's this little base that you buy for it, and you freeze the base and you put it in the mixer, and I guess I don't know how the magic works, but there's an ice cream maker for it. But my favorite thing is the meat grinder. I've never had a better meat grinder than that KitchenAid stand mixer, and it's amazing. And then as soon as you take off that grinder, you can turn around and make sausages or bratwurst or other stuff with it. And man, dude, it's just fantastic.
My parents have one, and we've done spetzel, if you're familiar with German food, and sausages out of it. And like those two things just absolutely sold me. Like I'm like, I need that. There's just too many uses for the KitchenAid stand mixer. It's not just like your regular table mixer. It's just so good, and it's so sturdy. My parents have been using the same one for like 15 years now.
Yeah, I was looking at Phoenix's mixer. I was like, man, they really make these new ones quite amazing. But when you run up against an older one, and I guess you rarely run up against them because a lot of older people still have theirs. Minus design notes, they're built the exact same way. And
that's how you know they did it right.
Yeah, I mean, not with the mixer and the grinder attachment and all these other things. It's the same configuration, just out of different material, but they're still here. And my favorite appliance.
I would go as far as to say that a KitchenAid stand mixer is one of those appliances that is a must-have for every kitchen. It's like there's too many uses for it. And if you have to only buy a couple appliances, that would definitely be one of them that I would put on the list.
Oh yeah. So what's next on your dream list that you'll never buy? Because the first two I bought.
So no, I want to actually say one that I love. Recently, so I wasn't a huge fan of blenders before because I always felt like they broke after a year. And then one day I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's put some money down on a good blender. And I was about to buy the ones you see in restaurants all the time, the super powerful and super loud ones. Vortex, Vitamix.
Okay.
So I almost bought one of those. They're super expensive, like $1,000 or something like that. And then I came across a Ninja mixer or Ninja blender. And when I looked it up, people were saying this is better than the Vitamix. It's quieter. And I looked up reviews, and it was like, this is just outperforming in many different ways. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll do it. It's like $400 or $500. I'll drop the money and do it. The thing's been amazing. You can buy a specific Ninja blender that you can put in your tomatoes and the whole 9 yards for tomato soup, and it'll actually warm it up, and you're making soup as you're just like blending all these things together just inside the blender itself. The one we have, we'll just throw in stuff from Stephanie's garden and just like make hot sauce. We'll make paste. We'll make whatever we need for anything. I love this thing. My only warning is those blades are sharper than you could ever imagine. Like I looked at it the weird way, and there was like a cut on my eye.
It cuts steel, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nuts. I absolutely love it. I don't think everybody needs a blender, but I think if you're doing more sophisticated items, uh, a Ninja blender is the way to go. Um, I don't know. I've never had a Vitamix, so I don't know if it actually compares to the power and the intensity of a Vitamix. But I will say that the Ninja blender is freaking loud. They say it's quiet, so I assume the Vitamix must be louder than that, but it's loud. It
Yeah.
definitely it can be heard around the house.
Crazy. I had the exact opposite experience with our Ninja.
Really?
Yeah. So we bought a Cuisinart many years ago. And Cynthia decided, hey, I'm gonna buy a Ninja. She bought a Ninja. We're using the Cuisinart again.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We never got it. We don't know if there was something wrong with our Ninja, but it was never able to really puree or blend the way that our Cuisinart was capable of doing. It always left an extremely coarse texture in making smoothies or anything that we were trying to make out of it, and it just didn't work out for us, man. So I was really surprised to I was like, dude, he better not say Ninja, and he fucking said Ninja. So yeah, that was really weird.
Hang on, I want to see. I want to figure out which one I bought now.
Yeah, because we love our Cuisinart, but our Cuisinart.
So we had a Cuisinart. Ours, the motor burnt.
Really?
Yep. So
Crazy.
this is really funny to me.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we only make one thing with the Cuisinart, or with our blenders at all, and that's smoothies.
So we got, with a bunch of attachments, the Ninja BN701 Professional Plus Blender, 1400 watts. It's got like, I don't know, what is this, like 5 blades on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 blades on this thing. It is freaking intense, and they have new ones since this, but I absolutely love this thing.
Okay, so ours wasn't too far off on this. Being, I think ours might have been even been a BN 801. And it was awful. It was just awful, man.
That's really surprising.
Yeah, so I also don't use a blender when I cook. I'm the primary cook of the house, and I don't find any use for the blender except for certain cuisines. So very specific things like paneer, sag paneer. Well, I guess any type of paneer uses a puree spinach. Right. And that's the only time I use the blender. Cynthia uses the blender for smoothies, and that's the only thing she uses it for. And granted, the Cuisinart actually isn't the best blender I've ever owned or I've ever used, because if I tried to make like a frozen drink for my kids, minus alcohol, or when my guests are over and they want a daiquiri or margarita, it doesn't leave the ice well pureed enough. And I think that's more my fault of being a terrible bartender than the blender's fault. But I know that in the commercial space, the blender will always make up for your shortcomings, and the Cuisinart can't do that. My Ninja wasn't able to do that. So what else do you use for yours? Do you use it for food processing, or?
So we do it for blending smoothies, but we use frozen fruit, and then we'll use frozen fruit with protein powder and milk, and then that's how we'll do the smoothies. And then it's mostly used to make hot sauces. So we get to a puree for most of it. And then sometimes we'll keep it a little bit chunky, but in order to keep it chunky, you kind of have to watch it, because the blender will just make it smooth super quickly. If I want chunkiness, like, I've got to pulse until I get there. I can't just leave it on, walk away, and come back. I've got to pulse. And then let's see, I make certain sauces out of it, like a mango sauce and things like that I want to put on top of foods, or a mint sauce to go on top of pork or something like that. And then the last thing that we use it for is I'll make what I call the healthy refried beans. So, like, you know how to make refried beans. It's a whole arduous process. It's stupid long. What I do is Yeah, I boil a can of black beans or red beans, and then I take the boiled beans and I put it into a blender and I press make a puree, and then that's my refried beans.
That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
That's what I do. It's perfect, and I don't have to worry about like the added salt or anything like that. It's just boom, done. So we have taco night every Tuesday, so we use the blender pretty often for that.
Man, you gotta stay true to that Taco Tuesday, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just an easy day, man. It's like we throw in. I'm going to get some looks for this. We throw in vegetarian meat, so we buy fake meat, and we'll put that on this. We'll put that on the pan with taco seasoning. Then I'll have the refried beans going. Then I'll put in our and this we'll come up to this one next. Or cuckoo rice cookers. Oh, amazing. Anyway, we'll put our rice in there with cilantro and lime, and we'll just let that cook, and then boom, we got a meal with we'll bake either sweet potato or butternut squash in the oven at the same time.
So, okay, before we move away from the blender, Cynthia has this personal blender. I think it's made by Oster, where
the bullet.
Yeah. So like she can make her smoothie and take it off, and the smoothie's already there, right?
Yeah, that thing's pretty good though.
Yeah, she loves that thing, man. It's a great appliance, and we have it too.
I used to love that thing too, but it's like there's so many attachments and it takes up so much space that I'm not a fan. But that thing is a good little blender just to make single portion things. It's amazing.
Yep. Dude, I'm gonna get disowned on this next appliance, man.
Which one is it?
The one that you're about to talk about, a rice cooker.
You don't like the cuckoo?
No, it's not that. I love the cuckoo, but I don't have one.
Why not? You live next to an H Mart. They have an entire aisle dedicated to the cuckoo. Okay, so it's Korean tradition for married couples to be gifted a rice cooker.
We were gifted a rice cooker.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, we were gifted a nice rice cooker.
Oh, we were too. We were gifted a Tiger. So Vietnamese are more in the Tiger brand, right?
Okay.
And it lasted. Cynthia and I, we've been married for 15 years, so it lasted a long time. It lasted for at least a decade, more than a decade. But my fellow Asians are going to disown me for this.
What happened? Please don't tell me you do it on the stove like some.
I cook rice in my Instant Pot.
Oh. Ow. God, you just turned a little white. Okay. So do you fluff it with a little bit of butter too?
Shut the fuck up. So, okay. I've been doing it for at least a year now, if not longer. Okay. Because the Instant Pot it's kind of shaped like a rice maker. It doesn't cook like a rice maker.
No.
And I think I just finally convinced Cynthia to get a rice maker again. You know the finger trick.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
For the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't work in the Instant Pot.
Nope. It doesn't.
No. And I can't find the right measurement for the fucking Instant Pot for it to work. So I
use measuring cups.
I never cooked rice the way I cook rice in a regular pot, rice pot.
And non-Asians don't get like the moisture content of rice makes the rice.
Yes.
Like they're like, no, it needs to be dry and fluffy. I'm like, no, you don't like rice. Just stop.
And that's the thing though, right? Is that non-Asian people don't realize that there are so many different rices.
Yeah.
Whether you're eating with, and I love the rice that Korean people use. And there's a difference between that, basmati rice, jasmine rice, broken jasmine rice, the short grain rice that's used for sushi and chirashi, and the long grain rice that you use for fried rice. There's so many different kind of rice and consistency that you make them in that you got to have a fucking rice pot.
Yep.
So yours talk to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sings to me. Like I press a button and it's like in Korean, it's like, hey, we're starting your rice. Thanks for choosing Cuckoo. We'll be back in like 10 minutes with your rice. I'm like, woohoo, thanks. It'll let me know when the pressure's up high. It'll let me know when there's like 3 minutes left. I love it. And it's got tons of options. I can make mochi in this thing.
Stephanie eats a lot of rice too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. She's Puerto Rican. So Puerto Ricans tend to be more about parboiled rice, which I think a lot of Americans are. That's like your Uncle Ben's for anybody who don't know. Your Uncle Ben's, your Minute Rice, things like that. Those are your parboiled rice. And what it is that they either do like a steam cook or they halfway cook the rice anyway. So by the time you cook it, it happens real fast. That's how you get your 5-minute rice, and there's like no flavor in it. So I can understand why a lot of people don't like rice, because if you're just doing it like those parboiled rices, I forget what kind of rice it's actually from, but it's not very flavorful. Your jasmines have flavor. Your typical Asian rices have flavors. Like my favorite to buy is a kyungi. You can get it at like every H Mart ever. It's my favorite rice. It's got like this semi sweetness, a little bit of tart, and it's perfect.
Yeah. So did you know that we have rice patties near Georgia?
Yes.
I didn't know that until this year.
Yeah,
Louisiana,
like all those little. Well, we have them in Georgia too, in the swamplands.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. There's not much, and they grow only heirloom rice.
Oh, uh, so what's heirloom rice?
Heirloom rice is rice that works better in our lowlands area. So Louisiana probably does the same thing. So heirloom in general just means a type of vegetable or fruit that does really well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So no, Louisiana doesn't. They develop their own rice. The Louisiana rice patties are huge. They're not like, just here and there. Their industry is rice. And it's so cool because I didn't know this about Louisiana. And, Louisiana is really known for their crawfish boils too, right? Mm-hmm. And when the rice patties are still flooded, they seed them with crawfish eggs.
Really?
Yeah. Really?
What does that do? Is that like a fertilizer?
No, that's they use the rice patties to grow crawfish for their industry too.
That's cool.
It is.
Love that.
That's
awesome.
So fucking cool. So where they grow their rice, they grow their crawfish. And it's all controlled in their lands. And it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. When we crossed by the area, we weren't quite sure what they were because we didn't know Louisiana grew rice. And, maybe if we saw one patty, we would have been like, okay, well, that guy might be trying to grow rice. But we saw miles and miles and miles and miles of rice patties. And we were like, those look like rice patties. But we didn't know. And then when we researched it and we saw the rice mills and huge rice industry there. Even the university systems there get involved in rice and rice development in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. But the cool part is that they share that land with growing crawfish. And, I always thought that they went out and caught crawfish in the river, but how would that be sustainable? Right.
Yeah.
It's not. They grow them in these rice patties. And it's so cool. And it's great because, because the rice patties is flooded most of the year, that when winter comes and Louisiana's down south, so it doesn't get that cold, but the ground is so soft that the crawfish can just get into the ground and survive through winter, and come spring, they can harvest them out of the rice patties. So super cool. Super cool.
I like that. I love the double use there without affecting either one of those crops.
Yeah,
that's a really smart idea. You just remind me of something. This is off topic, but people should try to find more local rices and corns. Like a lot of people think corn is just like there's like one or two different types of corn. You have your hominy and you have your yellow corns, your sweet yellows. But like there's so many different varieties, and you can find local corns a lot smaller, a little bit more expensive. Like it's just a joy to try. Rice is the same way. I don't know how much local rice there is in the US, but there's a lot of local varieties in the Asian countries.
There's apparently a lot of local rice in the United States. Okay. I was surprised that you have to seek them out, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The rice that you go into an American grocery store and you get the long grain rice and you cook it up and you're like, man, the fuck is this shit?
And everybody buys that Manhattan stuff, and I'm like, oh, help me.
Yeah. Manhattan. I'm talking about like Walmart, Great Value. Yeah, I guess they're all the same. I don't know where they come from. But I've been wanting to try Louisiana rice. Just haven't pulled the trigger on it because I got to order it from Amazon. I can't find it anywhere local, which I'm surprised. But looking at the website, they claim they supply a lot of people, but it's not. It's a very specific rice, right? So I can't remember the name to the species of rice that it is, but it's not long grain. That you generically call it long grain out in the grocery store. So it's supposed to have some really good characteristics to it too. That's unique to Louisiana. So maybe I'll just do it tomorrow.
That's actually something weird that you mentioned, like with corn and a lot of other veggies. We'll go down and say, is this specific species, it's hominy or is the sweet yellows. But with rice, we define it more about like the way it looks by its grain size, the small, medium, or long grain rice, or even parboiled. But like for the life of me, I'm trying to sit here and think of a certain species of rice, and I can't think of one.
Yeah,
and I feel like I love food, like I should know this, and I don't.
Well, I mean, okay, you already know that basmati is a different type of rice, right?
Yeah.
That's a very unique rice.
So is the species called basmati?
No, I mean, but you might as well call it the common name, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Because I don't remember what the Louisiana one was called. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, I kind of want to buy it too, actually. I'll bring that on to the next episode.
Yeah, man, it'd be so awesome.
I can't spell Louisiana.
Toro.
There it goes.
Toro. It's a long grain. Toro rice.
Wait, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah, so it's a long grain developed in Louisiana. So, and here's the cool thing about it. Here's what I thought was cool about it. It possesses cooking and eating characteristics of U.S. short and medium grain rices, which long grain rices aren't known for that spongy, sticky of the short, medium grains, right? So that's kind of cool. So I would love to try it. Just got to buy it.
Wow, it's not even that expensive.
Yeah. Okay. So, look, Walmart's got it. It's called Cajun Country Rich and Rich, but
Cajun Country, Rich,
yeah,
love it.
But doesn't look like they have it in stock. You have to order it.
I mean, it's $15 for a 5-pound bag. I just want a one. So
1 pound's $2.69 at Creole Food.
Was that on?
It's $10.50 delivery. Might as well buy from Walmart. Dude, I should have bought it in Louisiana. Was in there.
Yep.
By the way, you said you've been to Louisiana before, right?
Yeah, several times.
You ever had a boudin bowl?
A boudin bowl? No.
Yeah.
Boudin bowl.
Not bowl, ball. B-A-L-L. Ball.
No, this looks cool.
It's a rice ball.
It is this like what's that freaking
sundae?
Arborio rice?
No,
ball.
No.
You know what I'm talking about? The risotto ball.
Yeah,
arancini.
Yeah, it's still al dente, right? With the risotto ball of rice. Because if you don't have al dente, is it risotto anymore? It's not, right?
No,
it's just arborio rice that's been overcooked. So boudin ball is not like, it's not like a dumpling. In dumpling you got flour that surrounds meat. The boudin balls that I had was the meat was already mixed in with the rice, right? And then they pack it and then they deep fry it, just like Southerners. It's so fucking good, man.
It sounds like it.
It's so fucking good. And
what kind of meat? Like ground beef, or
so like a true Creole boudin ball would be like pork liver and other types of meat, and but they also have chicken, right, where it doesn't have any liver for people who don't like liver. But man, it is so good.
I'd be down for that.
And I have a butcher here in Atlanta that sells boudin sausages, and they're posers because they don't actually use pork liver, and they don't use pork liver in their they don't even use pork liver in the liverwurst, man.
Ew. What do they use? Beef liver?
No, they don't use any liver.
How do they get the flavor? That's weird. I'm pretty sure I would taste that and be like, this is weird.
Yeah. So it's
just a bratwurst.
It's actually one of the best liverwursts I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. And there's no liver in it, and I don't know how they make it. And it's a German butcher, and it's one of my favorite liverwursts. If you go out in store and you buy liverwurst in the store, they're all terrible. And liverwurst, you don't cook it like a bratwurst or anything like that. You use it kind of like a pate, right? And theirs is good, but there's no liver in it, so it's like poser liverwurst. But the boudin balls. So Cynthia and I, we just got done driving through these rice paddies, and first time in our lives, also seeing roadkill gator, by the way, because we've never seen roadkill gator. We needed some gas. We stopped at a gas station, and there were fucking boudin balls there. I was like, it's like, babe, we got to get some of these boudin balls.
Yep.
We got them, man. They were like $1 each for a ball, like
for a ball. Oh, they were huge.
Yeah, they were huge.
Okay.
They were
These
huge.
pictures do not look big. These pictures look like they're tiny.
I mean, I'm sure you could make them tiny, but like when you go in the dirty south of Louisiana and you get these boudin balls, they're the size of baseballs. Okay. And they're like $1.50 each, man.
That's nice.
Yeah. But I don't know if I ever said this. I'm about to go off on a tangent real quick.
You're fine.
When you were in Louisiana, do you remember seeing fucking casinos everywhere?
Yes.
Like at gas stations. Gas stations.
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious.
And there'd be like this line like on the wall of just like slot machines or like digital poker machines. And you're just like, just the middle, and you'll see people there.
Yeah.
And it'll look like they've been there for a while.
Yep. And right outside of the place, there'll be a billboard saying gambling problem. Give us a call. Yep. Holy shit. This place is cool. I love it. Okay. So, what else does your rice pot do? Because my old Tiger rice pot, I used to be able to put a basket on top of the rice. I could steam vegetables at the same time I cook rice.
Yeah, steam vegetables. I can make mulchi with it. There's a whole thing, like I can make what kind of rice. So it'll ask you I'm Korean, so we always make glutinous rice or gluttonous rice, whatever you want to call it.
Gluttonous
so that's what however you want to go with it. But yeah, so I use that most often. And then the mulchi feature that I haven't really got to use too much yet, because I don't like the idea of making mulchi without something in there like stirring the rice. I'm not quite sure how I can do that. And then there's a ton of other features that allow you to do meat, veggies, and whatnot. So it'll just work like an Instant Pot. So if you didn't want to spend the money, actually, this costs more than an Instant Pot.
I was going to say it costs a lot more than an Instant Pot.
if you wanted to like buy one or the other and wanted it to actually do a good job with rice, then I would buy the Cuckoo. I couldn't get rid of my Instant Pot. There's no way I can get rid of my Instant Pot. Like, I love both of them.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is that, with Cynthia saying, okay, go ahead and get another rice pot. They're two different appliances.
Yeah.
Even though the Instant Pot technically can cook rice, it just never does a good job at it. But you know what the Instant Pot does really well? What? Fucking boil eggs, man.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing.
Holy shit.
We're doing that right now.
Drop it with the eggs. You walk away, you come back, the shell isn't sticking on the egg, or it's like, holy moly.
Perfect.
Okay, look, it's 8:02. Let's text Joyce. Okay. See if we can get Matt on here.
I'm betting Matt forgot.
We really didn't say anything throughout the week to Matt. And I assume we would have to say something to Matt for him to remember.
Which makes me sad because I thought he was going to do this for a living.
Right?
And I'm going to be on, we're recording, but fuck it. Like part of me actually thought after Matt quit, he was going to take the reins on our show and be like, you know what, I've got the time. I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm going to plan it all out so that I can use you guys as my test drive for my show. That's what I thought was going to happen. That didn't happen.
You see my camera going out of focus?
Yeah, it keeps going to that light in the back to your left.
Yeah, even my camera's drunk right now with what you just said, man. So, so no, I didn't expect Matt to do that. I guess that was your expectation of Matt.
It's just hoping.
Yeah, well, look, man, I kind of thought that. Whatever. Okay, so what other appliance you got here? Because there's another topic that I want to completely turn away from the appliances, but I want to go through the appliances first because I got a lot of them.
Let's see. Stick blenders. Well, kind of. Let me pick another one that I actually really like. Oh, the George Foreman, I used to be a huge fan of before I got to the point where I just did it myself, pan frying and like using the oven instead. I used to love George Foreman's because, it was, you put your chicken breast in there, even if it were frozen, you put it down, it took the fat out. It was fantastic. You needed almost zero oil and it took care of everything for you. And you were able to make paninis in there. Like, I used to put asparagus in there all the time, put any veggies in there, like, and it would just be perfect. Um, and when I was in undergrad and even law school, that was my go-to cooking thing because I can put it in there and I could just sit there and study while it was going. I would still recommend that for anybody who doesn't really have time to cook.
Yeah, no, I would recommend George Foreman's Grill to go eat a dick.
You don't like them, really?
Well, look, man, I'm surprised you're saying that you put a frozen chicken breast in there because, electric appliances like that has a really hard time holding heat, right? So when you're trying to, so let's not talk about chicken breast because I think more people can relate to a frozen burger. If you put a frozen burger in there, it when it's hot, when it's ready, you put it on there, it's sizzling. But as soon as it loses that heat, it's boiling the fucking meat, man. I don't want a boiled burger, right? Yep. And I think that's where the George Foreman grill fails.
I agree.
Okay, let me take this back. It's not all electric appliances. There are some electric appliances that hold their heat very well. The George Foreman grill just isn't that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was going to say like the electric, what are they called? The griddles, the electric griddles actually do a pretty decent job.
They do because I use my electric griddle for Korean barbecue, and they do an amazing job at that. But the George Foreman grill, if you use it for like a panini or something like that where things aren't required to maintain a certain level of heat, then I think the George Foreman grill is great. And yeah, you're right. While you're going through undergrad and the best that you can afford is manager special chicken breast, I don't think you really care about how it turns out, right? Most college kids don't care.
Yeah, no, right there with you. I never did burgers on there. One, I couldn't afford a burger in undergrad, or I could afford a burger in undergrad. I couldn't afford a burger in law school. Like I was just straight loans in law school. I was working through undergrad.
You couldn't afford burgers in undergrad because we fucking drank it open in the morning.
I was making decent money in undergrad. I was able to put a lot of stuff in different places. Plus, I didn't like I had a kitchen. I rented a house. It was a little bit easier in undergrad. Law school, I had nothing. Like everything just went down the toilet for various reasons. But anyway, that George Foreman, just to defend it. I would never put a steak in there and I would never put a burger in there because both those things require you to like be able to seal in the meat, and a George Foreman would never get hot enough to seal any meat ever.
Right.
Like you don't want to put any like pastas in there or anything like that. So you never want to cook your yakimandu or what's the American word? Pot stickers. You don't want to put the you don't want to put those things in there. But like chicken's good, like thin cut chickens. I'm not talking about getting a whole chicken breast, like thin cut chickens put in there. My favorite thing to put in there was asparagus, zucchini, squashes in general, and like sandwiches. If I like wanted a hot ham and cheese sandwich, it was never like expensive stuff. Like most of my meals in law school was like rice and beans and pastas and like cheap things that I can get, whatever was on sale, I just went with. And I always get like some type of veggie, I'd cut it up in thin slices, throw in the George Foreman, and I can just study. So I think it has its use, but I think after you get over that hump of being able to afford different appliances, well, getting over the hump of being able to afford the time to cook, you can get rid of the George Foreman because the George Foreman no longer has a use.
Yeah, no, I think I can agree with that. I think the Instant Vortex, the air fryer, will make a better college student appliance.
How much is the Instant Vortex? Because that wasn't around when I was in law school.
No, it wasn't. This is a relatively new appliance, I think.
It's called an Instant Vortex.
Oh, Matt's coming on. Yeah, Instant Vortex. I think I have the 9-in-1.
Oh, but this is expensive, dude. A George Foreman costs like $20. I'm sorry, I didn't buy George Foreman. I bought the off-brand.
Yeah, an Instant Vortex 9-in-1, a 7-in-1 is only $90 at Kohl's.
How many quarts is yours? You get the 10.
I have 9.
Look at the 9.
No,
Okay.
the 9-in-1. So I don't know how many quarts that is.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So the 7-in-1 has the basket too, right? So you can still do your egg rolls with it. But
That's
so
$132. Good lord.
well, 7-in-1 you can do $89.99.
No, that was a 7-in-1, $132.
Well,
Amazon is not Amazon Choice.
No.
Where's the 7? There it is. Instant Vortex, $132.
Yeah,
With rotisserie and 6-piece Pyrex Littles cookware.
at Kohl's it's $89.99.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always forget to look at places like Kohl's. That's a good spot.
So, what up, Matt?
Did he come in?
He finally came in.
Okay.
9.
Yeah, for some reason I thought we weren't doing it this weekend.
What's that?
For some reason I thought we weren't doing it this weekend.
No, that was last weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
Matt's tired.
Sorry, we already did an hour.
What's that?
We
already
already
did
did
an
an
hour.
hour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck George Foreman grill. Because how much is it?
Matt actually destroyed one of my George Foremans.
Yeah, no, I believe it. Did he eat it?
Huh?
Did he eat it?
No, he put it. I think he put it like in the dishwasher or something, and it like melted like half of it or something. And it was never usable again. He ended up paying me back, like he did the whole 9 yards thing, but no, that thing was gone.
Okay.
I think I remember that. I think I also destroyed one of your blenders for I forgot why.
How do you
I thought that was
blender?
I'm pretty sure that was your blender.
Wait, what'd you do? Put the base inside a dishwasher, Matt?
I don't remember the details. I just
I don't. This was over 10 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Matt,
Either.
how do Singaporeans, how do expats celebrate American holidays in Singapore?
I don't know exactly, but I mean I think the expat community here is
God damn it! I was asking how your Thanksgiving was, man.
Oh, okay. So this year we went all out for our Thanksgiving. We cooked everything. We cooked the mashed potatoes. I made biscuits from scratch for the first time.
Oh, nice. How was that? Did you enjoy eating bricks or?
They're very tasty bricks. So I made biscuits with this gravy casserole kind of deal. It was very good. Yeah, we went the whole 9 yards. Huh?
Did you do a turkey or ham?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about. So there's this place called Cold Mart, or Cold Storage, Cold Storage. And ahead of time, we booked a turkey that we can get from them on Thursday. So we didn't have to cook it and prepare it ourselves. They said, oh yeah, just give us $70 and we'll have a cooked and ready turkey for you, right?
$70?
That is nuts.
Yeah.
What is that in US?
Wait, $70, 70 Singa dollars.
Yeah, so that's around roughly 50, 60 USD, I think.
Oh my God.
Oh,
what?
That's nuts.
And you know what they gave us?
What?
They gave us a frozen, pre-made cooked turkey.
Oh my goodness.
Shipped from the States. You know those things that you can just buy off of the shelf at the grocery store in the States?
No, I've never seen a pre-cooked frozen turkey in the United States. Have you ever seen that, Andy?
Oh yeah, you can get them here. They're not $50.
Frozen pre-cooked?
Frozen and pre-cooked. I don't know if they were frozen. You can get pre-cooked turkeys.
Yeah, you can get pre-cooked turkeys. Yeah.
I don't know.
But the guy even told us, hey, come back here around 3 p.m. That way it'll be hot and ready for you for dinner.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got there at 4 p.m. We brought up, and Martin called Joyce. He was like, hey, Joyce, your turkey's frozen.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's probably they don't have enough experience to realize that a turkey takes a long ass time. Yeah. Like a long ass time. So how was your frozen turkey?
Actually it turned out pretty well after many hours of cooking it. And like when we first took it out of the oven, there was a big ice block still in the middle.
Was it dry?
So we just kind of ate the outside piece.
Was it dry?
It was a little dry, but not too bad. But I mean, it was just, I forgot what the brand was, but it's a brand that you guys recognize in the States. I forgot.
Butterball?
Yeah, Butterball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
my size Butterball at Tyson's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
no. So let me give you, Matt, a recipe for turkey next year so that you don't have to buy another frozen turkey. Best turkey recipe ever. Okay. So I don't know if you guys are experienced in cooking turkey for Thanksgiving.
Baked and deep fried, by the way, but go ahead.
And
smoked.
I only roast turkey, which I'll defer to Andy for the others because his family are Matt. They're really good at barbecue. The day before Thanksgiving, especially if you have a cold day, I'm guessing in Singapore you don't. If you're in Singapore you don't, and you have a family that doesn't eat a whole lot of turkey, just get a turkey breast. Don't get the whole turkey. Just get the 2 turkey breasts. What you want to do the day before is you want to take water. You want to put ice in it if you don't have freezing temperatures. You want to put the turkey in there with a shitload of salt and the seasonings that you like, between chicken broth and garlic, onion powder, pepper, salt, oregano, parsley, basil, and all of that other stuff. And if it's cold enough, if you're in the States or some other country that is not Singapore, you can leave that pot outside with that turkey just in that water for 24 hours, right? Because what you're doing is it's called brining. That process is called brining. You when you brine anything that is typically dry, when you cook it, it is as moist as dark meat. So if you had like white meat chicken, or if you had turkey, and you brine it a day before, and then you slow roast it in low temps, like 325 degrees, and you can take a turkey breast and you can put it in 325 inside an oven for 3 hours, and you baste it every single hour. It becomes so moist that you don't even need gravy to eat it. And by the way, while I'm on this tangent, did you guys know that if you took chicken breasts and you cut them into blocks, if you marinate them in baking soda, it becomes moist?
Really? No.
It makes this is your wife should know this, Matt. This is actually a Szechuan technique. Is that you actually marinate it in baking soda, and it actually makes the turkey breast moist.
Oh,
really
trying that. I'm trying that.
Just gave you guys 2 deep dark secrets today.
Nice.
Well, Andy, you already know about the brining. Matt, now you can use it for your family next year and impress them with turkey. Really, really moist turkey. So how else did your Thanksgiving go, Matt, before I rudely interrupted you with my secret cooking techniques?
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, it was great. We were planning on cooking ahead of time, but we wanted cooking from like 9 a.m. in the morning and just nonstop cooked the whole day. But like the food was amazing, man. And Joyce's family was pretty happy. But I thought it was kind of funny. One of our family members came over, but they weren't too used to American food, so they brought their own noodles to eat.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
Every American family has that family that comes over, though.
Yep.
We're like, we brought this, and we're just gonna eat this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's how
like
my wedding.
huge. What's that?
That's how my wedding reception was. Right? Because
awesome.
Cynthia's white, so our wedding reception was we had filet mignon and lobsters for our wedding, and
oh yeah, that's casual drop. We had filet mignon and lobster for our wedding. Everybody has this.
No, it wasn't good enough for my dad. It wasn't good enough for my dad. He was like, "Where's the fucking rice, son?" So my dad had a second reception for only the Asians the next day.
Did your mom cook it?
No, it was at an Asian restaurant.
Oh, then I'm not interested. If your mom cooked it, I would have showed up.
Right. And it was insane because my parents came up to me afterwards. They were like, "You guys can come if you want to." We're like,
if you want to.
What?
If you want to.
What about the rest of them who are here? So yeah, no, the filet mignon wasn't, and the lobsters weren't good enough for my parents.
Wow.
My dad, at least.
Wow.
They're just not used to it, or
They
it just wasn't
thought
good.
It wasn't good enough for them.
Wow.
What restaurant did they end up going to?
Wang's too.
Oh, really?
So Wang's too actually has an authentic Chinese menu, but they only do it for Asians.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
and they only do it for large events like that. So when the Vietnamese community gets married, we typically go to Wang's 2, which is a really shitty restaurant otherwise. But when it comes to authentic food, they really knock it out of the ballpark.
Is there, this is a tangent, I apologize. Is there a large overlap between Chinese food and Vietnamese food?
Yeah, huge overlap. We don't use a lot of the same seasonings that the Chinese do. You know, the Chinese is very sweet in flavors. If you and
Orange
the
chicken and the like, yeah.
Vietnamese is very pungent and fermented in flavors because we focus a lot on fish sauce. So yeah, completely different flavors. Not even close. Not even close. But one of the tricks that we never did in Vietnam was to use baking soda in our white meat chicken. And when I learned that from the Szechuan, dude, it opened up a completely different world.
I want to try that. Okay.
Yep.
I can see why it might work, but it sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah, so I didn't even question it when the girl who had the Chinese accent said, use some baking powder for your food and it will be more tender. I was like, fuck yes. And then I tried it. I was like, it works. So yeah, it was dude, unbelievable. I used to buy deboned chicken thighs because it was much better for things like chicken teriyaki or chicken masala because it was more moist and tender. And after I learned what the Szechuan did with their food, their chicken meat, I switched over to nothing but white chicken meat, and used baking soda to marinate it beforehand. And it's amazing, man. It's so amazing. But anyways, dude, Matt, I'm glad you're here. Yep. Andy, before we move away from appliances, do you have any other appliances you want to throw in?
Let's see here.
Matt, we were talking about the appliances that we love to have, things that we would never buy, even though they're cool. And, you know, Matt and Andy's shitty Ninja, and
it's an amazing Ninja.
And, you know, and my fake Asian rice cooker.
Yeah. Remember way back when we bought a juicer?
No, you bought a juicer. And then I took a juicing diet for like a week. And I had the biggest headache of my life.
Aren't they horrible though? The juicers?
Do what?
My juicer was horrible.
Yeah, there was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. Yeah,
because it never did anything with the fibers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fibers would get stuck, and then you would be able to make 1 cup of juice, and then you had to spend all day cleaning that fucking juicer.
Yeah. God, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm never doing that again. It's so much easier just to blend the whole thing. Just eat the whole freaking thing. Like, why juice it? Just drink.
You lose the fiber.
Thing. Yeah.
When you're juicing, you lose the fiber.
Yeah.
But you got any other appliances, Andy?
No, I think that's it. I think that's all. That's